Welcome to the Innovative Systems Podcast, Broadband Breakdown, where we dive into real-life challenges broadband leaders are facing and help them find solutions. This is your space for innovative ideas and expert solutions. Let's get started.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Brian Weis, Director of Customer Success here at Innovative Systems, and today I have the pleasure of having Pat Mcelroy, CEO and GM of Northeast Nebraska, on the phone. Pat, how you doing today?
Oh, really good, Brian. Like always.
I know. I appreciate you jumping on because what we're going to talk about today is one of my favorite stories to talk to you about, which is your transformation of taking Northeast Nebraska from being the typical billing setup of, these are the prices and the service to actually a metered billing setup. And I've loved hearing the story. I'm surprised more customers haven't looked at that. And I kind of want to hear, have you share what happened, how it came about, and, how that all ended up. So if you don't mind, jump in and kind of tell me, why did you guys look at this in the first place?
Okay. Well, I'll give you first a little bit of a history lesson. We're a co-op. We're located in Northeast Nebraska, obviously, and we serve 31 little villages. In Nebraska, they're called villages if they're less than 800 people, and we don't have a town above that. We have about 6,000 subscribers and 31 employees. So that's a general about us as a co-op. The most important thing that's kind of telling to all this, and not important, it is important, but our towns are like ink spots. They're not really contiguous. And so we basically have a fiber ring around all of our villages. Well, basically, Brian, I'm in Jackson, Nebraska, and my ring would go to Columbus, to your place.
Oh, wow.
So we have a 1,000-mile ring around Northeast Nebraska that plays big into how we handle our traffic. But I think anybody in the West understands that. But I do think for regulators and other people, it's important to think of geographically that it's the same as going from here to Pittsburgh or Columbus, the distance for us. So, and we have to deal with it. So that plays into what we do. But at any rate, I became GM in 2014, and we were wrapping up all our fiber to the home.
Oh, wow.
And when we did our fiber to the home, we did everybody everywhere pretty quickly. And we're pretty proud. We were the first 100% fiber to the home company around here, meaning we disconnected everything that's copper, just got completely away from it and changed. It's kind of transformed our life.
I would say, that at least took down the maintenance of having to keep up the old copper plant, anytime it rained, all the other issues, but that had to be a Herculean effort to get everybody over to fiber.
The trouble was we were still all under the neck of tariffs. And so we were operating with 2, 4, 8. Those were the main DSL plans, 2 meg, 4 meg, 8 meg.
Okay.
And then we had 12.3, 12.12, 25, 25, 50, 50. And they were all based on tariff pricing. And they were, our prices range from basically $39.99 to most of our customers were $39.99 to $69.95.
Okay.
But then the higher ends, the ones that wanted 50-50 up and down were still $260 is what the tariff was at the time. So,
wow.
So that, that was the environment we were in, and everybody had to have a phone, same old phone company stuff that, so we studied that and we were like, well, how would we want the internet to be? So I convened the management and we decided, well, let's just think about what we would want. If you really could change it in the right way you wanted it. So, in this process, as I listened to our CSRs and our employees, you found out one thing: it was never simple. It was just very complicated. Everybody, if nobody could definitively say a plan, they had basically a matrix of where to put people into. all of our customers and probably our sales gravitated towards the lowest price option, which is probably typical of anywhere in the Midwest,
100%. And our CSRs want to lead with the cheapest one because it's the easiest to get them to sign up to, not realizing it's probably not the best package.
Yeah. And in another life, I had been at a phone company where we did a lot of sales. And I can tell you when your salesmen click the most is when it's simple and they can know the answer and they can move from one thing to the other. So, basically at the end of the day, we probably had 15 different options for a customer, which is way too much when they would call in. So, and we were with the requirement of making people take a phone. We were basically losing everybody under 40 because they just wouldn't do it. They were like, why would we add, because the phone basically added about $33 to $35 to your phone bill, to your bill every month.
Okay.
And they thought it was ridiculous. So, and then the other thing that was happening at the same time was we have 1,000-mile ring. As I mentioned, at the time we had only a 1 gig connection around it, and so then you'd get data floods, here and there that would cause you misery. So, and also a wisp would pop up occasionally in your town and eat the bottom out of you. They'd offer $5 less than our
whatever you were off. Yeah. Whatever you were by tariff, you had to keep, and they were crushing you.
Yeah. And so then they'd take out some, all the people that just wanted an internet connection for email and that stuff. So that was kind of the environment we were in. But, as I looked at it, I said, well, let's simplify this. We were reading about the LEO satellites and where they were going to be and what cellular was offering, and thought, where's this going to go in the future? How's it going to play out? So, and what advantages did we have? We knew that our plant was capable of doing up to a gig. And we always knew that fiber was faster and more reliable than anything wireless. So that was in the background of our mind. And the other thing that we thought we had a great advantage with was, unlike cellular, who was advertising unlimited at the time, we don't limit you, and we don't shape your traffic, or we don't throttle. Cellular would advertise unlimited at the time, and if you got above 22 gig, they'd throttle you down.
100%. I remember those days.
And the WIFs, even the ones that won RDOF and won awards, still had a statement in that during peak hours, we will manage our traffic and basically shut down any game or anything that it does wait. So that was our advantage. So in 2017, we were exploring other options. We began measuring our customers' usage, unbeknownst to them, but we ran the tallies where we worked with Innovative, and we worked with Calix, and we worked with the Zone at the time, to make sure we had a method to measure and capture usage. Now, we didn't do deep packet inspection. We didn't want to know where they were going or any of that stuff.
Nothing intrusive, but you just needed to know how much they were using.
Yeah. And so we wanted to get the data, and we got the data for a couple of years, actually, and studied patterns, and we'd study events. We could tell you exactly when, at the time, the iPhone updates, when they would go out at night. So those are the kind of things we studied. We ended up taking one of our exchanges then, and we opened the pipes all the way. We didn't tell the customers, but their plan, they were still paying for $39.95 or whatever. But we opened it up, and they had a gig up and down to their doorstep. And we just wanted to see how it affected the traffic. Now, mind you, this was still 2017, 18. We didn't know for sure. What we found was a slight increase in traffic, but virtually, and it just kind of leveled out. Didn't keep ramping up like going crazy. But also at the same time, the calls about speed in the office from that exchange went away. There was nothing. And also our plant ran great. I mean, that process kind of opened the door with us working very heavily with you guys, very heavily with Calix and the Sound Zone to make sure we could capture and measure and bill everything and consistently, not have some fluke thing that we'd miss data and miss a day. Because, if you miss a day, you're missing upwards of $5,000, at that time, $1,000, so you got to make sure. We devised different models based on the data we had collected, and we kind of ran them. Listen, accounting would just take all the data, all the usage, and throw it against customers' bills and see where we would lay out. And, I think back about it, we did a ton of work.
You did.
It paid off, but at the time, now if I asked her to do that much, she'd probably chew my ear off.
She probably would, actually. So I know she's going to listen to this, so that comment can stay in for sure.
Yeah. And at that point, we started talking to the board about what we were thinking of. And I made sure to mention it every month and tell them what we were doing in the community we were measuring and what we were seeing, and where the extremes were, what the pressure points were. I also discussed it at staff meetings. So that talk, I think, paid off greatly in the long run, just the forethought. So finally,
your staff had to see that, ticket volumes were going down in that area that you'd opened up. And, I think your technicians, being the technical people, they were like, oh, this is awesome. I don't have to worry about someone complaining about something. They can do whatever they want on their network, and it's going to be as fast as they want it to be.
Yeah. It
created advocates in each of your little villages where you had employees.
Yeah. And it eliminated the conflict because, people just say, once a customer called in and complained about speed, we knew it was in their house. It was nothing to do with the network. Yeah, I think that alone gave our guys confidence. Like, because before I think it was a fuzzy feeling like, well, is it something we're doing? Is it something? But now they were very confident. They were pinging to the O&T, and the O&T said, you're getting a gig, it's got to be in that house. So that made the troubleshooting on anything a lot easier. But then back to the plan, we sat down, us 4 managers, and we said, what do we want? So I wanted it simple.
Yeah.
We knew in order to sell it to the board and to the staff, it had to be revenue neutral. So all the plans that we ran, we wanted to make sure that we weren't gouging any, a ton more money or anything. We wanted it to be new and fresh. So marketing had to come up with a new name. We called it FiberFast at the time. We still do. I knew from studying the other usage-based models that I wanted it to be all or nothing, meaning we're not going to keep any legacy plan anywhere. We want the whole base going to it, and we'll sink or swim with it. So in our mind, we were like, if I was a customer, how would I want it? And that's what we tried to do. We had no add-ons, no extra fees for little things here and there. Never any caps. And at the end of the day, we determined within our plan we would be forgiving. So, an anomaly could happen. Somebody could use your Wi-Fi or, that's kind of stuff. So, and we knew that the first year that customers would have odd things happen. I mean, and they did. And so we had to be forgiving. So come around to 2019. Okay. So the world's changing a little bit. It appears we're going to get an ACAM 2 offer, which gave me great confidence that a good ACAM 2 offer that, okay, we've got a backstop to get this implemented. Let's get going. So we finalized our plan. Basically, we would run FiberFast. Everything would be a la carte. So you broke apart a lot of bundles that we had because they were confusing.
Right.
You have phone, you have internet, you have TV. $19.95 for the phone, $103 at the time for the TV, and $19.95 plus 20 cents per gig on the internet. And that was a process to break that all apart. But the board approved the new rates in January. And then at that point, we started talking publicly about it. Like we put it in the newsletter. We were online, very, that this is coming. This is what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. We started publicly to state in our news. Yeah, I said that. And we developed a plan to convert our customers over June, July, and August. Okay.
Okay. So a 6-month period.
Yeah, basically. And the actual conversion was a third of our customers. And we were very forgiving on the billing those 3 months. Now, we're very forgiving, but also in my mind as a GM, I knew that I got a little bit of leeway here because if our revenue's down, we're going to have a higher
ACAM
too.
Yeah.
So that gave me comfort. And it worked out all right. So at any rate, when we started converting customers, that's when things got interesting, Brian. So
this is the fun part.
So if you can scroll through the podcast to the boring part, now is where it got interesting. So, so we hired a couple temporary people to be in the office to do the conversion because there was a lot of data entry and a lot of things that had to happen. And we did, and it worked. And my staff, when challenged, they do great things. And that's a lesson out of this. But as we converted customers, I made it a point that give me the list of the agitated ones, and I will sit down. And I usually would do it on my drive home or to and from Lincoln or wherever I was going to, and I would call them back. So we had another gentleman that he paid us $130,000 or something like that to build fiber to his home outside of our exchange area. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And at the time we said, we can do this, but we need you to sign, I think it was a 3 or 5 year contract saying you'd agree to a monthly bill of $125 at least to have internet. And you need to make a payment of X to get there. And, so he was set. I mean, he had his plan and he had done that like 2 years earlier, but he was a gamer and so they don't like anything to do with usage-based billing. And we knew his usage.
Yes.
I would call him and talk with him and say, your usage, you would only pay $75 a month at the most right now. And you're paying us $140 a month every month. And he still wouldn't switch. He still hasn't switched.
Really?
Yeah, I think Alyssa has a tabulator how much extra he's paid just because he
refuses to go to usage.
Yeah.
And he's probably the only exception in your entire network.
He is. He has that contract, and that's
until
fine.
That contract ends.
We'll let him keep overpaying us, but that's whatever. September 1, we were all converted and we had usage-based billing up and running. We had our annual meeting. We talked about it. I talked through the annual meeting how we were going through the J curve, basically implementing change, and things got a little low, and now we're on the upswing, as the change has been implemented.
Yeah.
And truthfully, Brian, we, September, October, November, December, I thought this is going pretty good. We're hitting the strides. We're doing the right things. It's going to be all right. So, and then this thing called COVID.
I was about to say, your timing on this. Here we go.
So COVID strikes, comes about in the middle of March in 2020, I guess. Yeah, 2020. And it coincides in Nebraska with probably the worst 10 days of March weather we could have had. It was literally like 34.
So everybody's snowed in, and now they're stuck at home trying to turn up everything.
34 degrees, rainy, windy, cold, and nobody could get outside. So where do they turn? They turn to their internet. And, the phones are lighting up again. What are we going to do? What's going to happen? So I will tell you that this was when we were our most innovative.
Okay.
This is not a plug for innovative systems.
Understandable. You're using the word.
Yeah, I still hate you guys because you bill me every month. But hey.
That part might need edited.
No, but, what we did in response to COVID was pretty, I thought, well, I'm sure every phone company did something similar. But first, we gave the first month, the board looked at the usage, and we gave everyone a 25% discount on their bill just because usage did spike.
Of course.
It did go crazy. Everybody was indoors. We gave our families with kids in school a credit based on a Zoom call. We caused us to do all the research. The research told us that if you were on a 7 or 8 hour Zoom call, you wouldn't even use a gig of service. So if a family certified to us, we gave them a form online that they had the kid in school, or then we gave them each a one gig per day credit. So that at the end of the month they had 30 gigs of credit. Gave them a credit on their bill. It worked great. As long as school was not in session, we honored that. We still honor for homeschooling parents. But it caused us to think these things through. We put Wi-Fi on top of every one of our COs for free in the towns. It got used in a little bit here and there, more in certain areas, and it gave it an option, and it took away the excuse that, well, we can't get internet. Well, even if you're not our customer, you can go to the CO, and yeah. Once we got our ACAM offer, the next year we were able to exit the NECA tariffs.
Yeah.
At that point, we could offer naked internet, basically, without offering a phone line. That helped tremendously. We in a ILEC area without virtually no growth as far as people moving in, we've added 15% more subscribers, nearly 1,000 subscribers to our service. So we virtually have a limited WISPs in our town. The luxury once, tasted theory. People will try to leave to go to satellite and to WISPs and to cellular. But they've had a gig door to door, and once it's hard to leave. So that's a good thing. And virtually business customers stick with us, with all that, because they pay.
Especially your farmers, your ranchers, things like that, I would assume, for sure.
Yeah. And those are some of our biggest users. Guys with live cattle or live hogs or live, operations. Cameras are getting to be everywhere. They have large bills, but we're a co-op, and they know that they're generating that. So, if you look at it, with dropping the phone line, we've been able to engage younger customers. Now, we dropped the phone line, and we started paying capital credits to our current customers, a percentage every year, because I don't think before that younger customers understood the co-op and what it did and why. So, and every year we've dropped our rate from 20 cents per gig to 19, even further than that some years, depending on what the usage dictates. Because remember, at the start, our professed goal to our customers was it's going to be revenue neutral to the company.
Yep. So you're passing on savings as usage goes up. You're able to drop the price per rate or per
so
our gig.
We've dropped it to 10 cents per gig this current year. So it's from 20 cents down to 10. It's a 50% savings on, if you truly look at it. So, but here's the beauty of it. The gigs keep climbing 15% a year. So people are using more and more internet. So that was our original goal, is how could we grow? If all our support was to go away, could we grow revenue in different ways? And I think we've really accomplished that. So if you look at our current billing, our average customer bill is $59.30 per month this last month. So 96% of our customers have a bill under 150. So there's a lot of our elderly customers that don't use a whole lot. But before, we were losing all those. So the bottom was dropping out to WISPs and stuff like that. Yeah. If I summarize probably 3 lessons out of this, one, our staff did this. I mean, they were miraculous. They did a lot of things innovative. They did a lot of things, talking with irate customers at different times and doing the right stuff. couldn't be prouder of what they accomplished doing that. The other thing was my board was in alignment. They backed me. They gave me great confidence, and they wanted to see the plan through and made it happen. And I'll be forever grateful for that, because your whole career, your life depends on that. So, but I would say the other thing that maybe I wasn't as good at before this as I am now, but the power of the bully pulpit, we have the means and we have the ability to influence a lot of things. Now, Melissa, our marketing manager, she fought yeoman's battles. I would say fought, but she handled things online a lot.
I think it's an incredible story. I hope people hang on and listen to it all, because what you guys have accomplished, I think, would benefit so many other companies out there right now. And I think your journey through it, there's a lot people could listen to and learn from about some of the hiccups, but the thought out plan, the engagement of the staff and the board to make it all come to fruition, and to be able now to have such a loyal customer base. I think that speaks volumes for the longevity of the plan that you put together. So, Pat, thank you so much for your time today. And appreciate you sharing this. Now, if people come up and harass you about how the story ends because they dropped off, now you're going to have to answer that question at trade shows, okay?
That's a wrap for this episode of Broadband Breakdown. Got a problem you need advice on, or a story to share? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay connected and keep pushing for progress in rural America.